Howdy, and welcome back to the channel of Major Luck 92, the Shaman of Gaming. Now, you saw that my last video was the Gears of War Judgment multiplayer demo gameplay on Overrun, and well, my actual copy of the game dropped today, the day before release, and I've been playing around on it a bit, mostly playing Overrun. I had a couple of rounds of team deathmatch earlier on today, but I've been playing, you know, mostly sort of predominantly Overrun, just because I enjoyed it so much in the demo. And funnily enough, it's actually the map that was included in the multiplayer demo that we're playing here. But yeah, I've been playing Overrun quite a lot, and I've actually become quite adept at it and picked up, you know, quite a few tips even early on. Ooh, that ash. Quite early on, so I just thought that my first video when the actual game's out would be to share some tips on how to be successful in this game mode. First of all, you might actually hear some sort of kind of feedback on the microphone. I live 13 floors up in a block of flats, and it is windy as hell, and it's quite daunting actually. I think it's going to collapse, but anyway, yeah, so that's just a quick apology if you hear any feedback from that. Any of the whip of the wind. But yeah, I just thought I'd throw out some tips, so let's get into it. First off, I'd like to say that I only show the defensive part of this game because full games on this, when you're attacking and defending, can take up to, you know, half an hour, 25 minutes to half an hour usually. If it goes all the way to the generators on both rounds, it can possibly be even longer. So I just showed the defensive part of this, but I will share some tips on attacking as well, and I'll actually start off with that. My first tip for if you are attacking as the Locust is just to look around you as you're spawning. You know, just choose any random you know, creature. Look around you and see who the rest of your team have chosen, you know, what creature they've chosen. I think the perfect setup is for everybody to be tickers from the start, except for one guy who should be a grenadier or a cantus. The cantus is for defensive purposes, and the grenadier is to keep the tickers alive and throw grenades and put pressure on them. So I'd really suggest you start off as a ticker. You know, if everybody else is a ticker, then you just slip into the grenadier role and do that. The reason I say that is because tickers, out of the tier 1 Locust, they take fences down so fast with their attacks, and if you're about to get killed, then you can just explode and do, you know, really high damage. I think I actually walked past that wretch and missed it, but you know, I'm getting used to the game. I think I get revived, and then I actually think I kill it here. But yeah, so I really would suggest that. I personally really do like being a scout. I really like marksman rifles, because you can climb up onto these perches and you know, put pressure on the enemy team. Again, that fucking wretch comes up, and I think he actually does me in this time. And again, I think the medic actually comes over and just doesn't really know how to heal me, or maybe has wasted the stim grenade, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, once you get past that and you unlock some of the other stuff, I think the biggest tip that you can give for this is to just watch what your teammates are playing as at all times. You know, when it gets further on and you can play as some sort of stronger Locust, make sure that you watch to see if any of your other teammates are playing. You know, if you want to be a Serapede, make sure that nobody else is playing as a Serapede, because it's a bit of a waste if you use them both at the same time. So yeah, I think that's one of the best tips that you can give, and it's exactly the same, especially if you join a game late, or even from the beginning. Don't choose your class straight away. Check to see what the rest of your team are playing as, and fill sort of the empty slot. That's what she said. Yeah, just fill what they're not doing. I always watch and wait to see, but it's just unfortunate. I think the only thing that I don't like about Overrun, I sort of, you know, I touched on the fact that I really do like this game mode. I think it's a really good addition to the Gears of War series, and I can see me playing this game mode probably more than any of the others. I've yet to try Domination out as well, so I'm quite anxious to see what that's like. I'll probably jump on some of that after I finish this commentary. But yeah, the only thing that I don't like about Overrun is the fact that out of the cog, the gears that you can choose from, Baird is just the best class by far, and I really do think that later on in the game's life cycle they need to do something about the turret, because that he puts down the sentry turret. I just think it's a little bit overpowered, and people use it in the wrong way. I don't mind people using it, but people use it in the cheap way. If you get into a gunfight with somebody who's playing as Baird when you're obviously playing as a Locust, they'll just throw the turret down in front of you and you've got no chance. It'll just absolutely burn you down so fast. So that's the only thing I don't like about it. Out of all of the, you know, cog characters that you can choose, the Baird class is just the best way to go. But as I said, don't take that for me saying that you want to always play as the Baird character. Stick to what I first said. If you start the game and you see that everybody's playing as Baird, choose a different class. You know, prep maybe a medic or even the scout. And I don't see enough people playing as Cole and dropping ammo packs. It's quite frustrating that, you know, you don't have the full spread because so many people play as Baird. Another thing that I would like to touch on as a bit of a tip is that once you get into the tier 2 Locust when you're attacking, always keep in the back of your mind that sort of bigger is not always better, and you know, size doesn't matter. What a cliche, but no, it doesn't. Always keep in mind that you have the ticker and the wretch option, because it usually works that when it gets down to the later rounds, once you move on to like the second E-hole cover and eventually get to the generator, it gets more and more hectic and people are more inclined to use the heavier Locust. As you can see there, you could see that 2 people playing as Baird, one was playing as Sophia and one was as Cole, so there wasn't a scout in there, and that's why I filled that, you know, filled the gap that was missing. And I think that'd be the best way to go about it. I mentioned in my my first Gears video from the demo that I would really like to play this game as a team, and honestly I think if you had 5 people communicating in a party or whatever, as long as you were communicating and you're speaking to each other, I think you'd have no trouble in winning this. It's just that sometimes when you're defending, everybody gets sucked over to one side as soon as the fences go down, and that's when you start getting, you know, flanked and hit on the other side. And that is the precise reason why I say that, you know, don't forget about the smaller Locust, don't forget about the ticker and the wretch. The wretch is a lot more useful than it first seems, because it can jump up. It's like the scout from the Gears. It can jump up onto high ledges. So there's one, I think, behind me to the right where there's a troika that's set up on top, and there's no fences that you have to break down before you get to that point. And if you go in as a wretch, you can jump straight up and the E-hole cover's just round the corner. So if like this, you know, we got sucked onto this side a little bit too much here, and if that happens when you're attacking, then I would suggest running round to the other side with a wretch and coming in the quiet way. It's definitely a really viable tactic, and I think it's probably the best one. As you can see, it just gets hectic near the end, and I actually my aim goes completely off near the end of this game. But as long as you're backing your teammates up, and I think that's why it's so frustrating that that, you know, the majority of people play as Baird. We actually had a bit of quite a decent spread here. People were playing as different classes. But if everybody except for one person's playing as Baird, the Baird character has the sentry turret and it can fix fences, but you can't assist your teammates really. Like, as the medic can heal people, and you know, the scout can spot people, but as the Baird character you're not really helping your teammates out, and it's a bit of a selfish class really, because like I said, people just spam that sentry turret down, and it's actually quite frustrating really. And like I said, it's probably the only thing that I don't like about this game mode. I don't know whether they'll possibly, you know, look into that as I get. See what I mean? I just got flanked by that wretch. That's a perfect example of, you know, the way you should play it. True, it didn't work out for him this time, but if I wasn't stood on this side, well, I got downed. But say if there was everybody sucked onto the other side, he could have just like tanked away on that E-hole cover. Another thing is when you're attacking, when you get later into the rounds, when you get to like tier 2 Locust, I would suggest if nobody's playing as the Cantus, then you fill that role, because if you have like say 2 Maulers or a Mauler and a Serapede or whatever, it doesn't really matter what the combination is, but that's just because they're high priority. You can keep them alive. If you just stand behind them and keep them healed, then they'll be able to tank everything. So yeah, they're just my my first little tips after I've been playing for a little bit. But yeah, that's the end of the commentary. Hopefully you enjoyed it and learned something from it. If you did, please leave it a like and some love, and I will be back very soon with another video that you will hopefully enjoy. See you then.